Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News on India's Voice to the World. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Parliament holds a special discussion on 150th anniversary of India's national song, Vande Mataram. Home Minister Amit Shah says song continues to hold same importance even today. Nation should know its complete history. Civil Aviation Minister Naidu asserts in Parliament that safety in aviation is non-negotiable. Meanwhile, DGCA has slashed IndiGo flights by 5% for its winter 2025 schedule. Conflict escalates across multiple areas along the disputed border of Thailand and Cambodia after both countries accused each other of breaching the ceasefire. 6 soldiers killed at security checkpoints in Pakistan's Kurram district. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan claimed responsibility of attack. Strong India face shaky South Africa in first match of T20 series in Cuttack today. Shubman Gill and Hardik Pandya to return. The winter session of Parliament is underway in New Delhi. The Rajya Sabha has taken up the special discussion on 150 years of Vande Mataram, the national song of India. Union Home Minister Amit Shah opened the discussion in the upper house. Speaking on 150 years of Vande Mataram, Home Minister Amit Shah said that Vande Mataram has always required dedication. It remained important when we attained independence in 1947, and it continues to hold the same importance even today. He added that Vande Mataram became the call that helped break the shackles of Bharati, and the discussion of Vande Mataram in both houses will help future generations understand its true importance and its glory.
वंदे मातरम पर चर्चा की जरूरत, वंदे मातरम के प्रति समर्पण की जरूरत, वंदे मातरम बना तब भी थी, आजादी के आंदोलन के वक्त भी थी, आज भी है, और जब 2047 में महान भारत की रचना होगी तब भी रहे, क्योंकि अमर कृति मां भारती के प्रति, भारत माता के प्रति समर्पण, भक्ति और कर्तव्य के भाव जागृत करने वाली कृति है.
Meanwhile, the Lok Sabha is holding debate on special intensive revision of electoral rules as part of a discussion on electoral reforms today. Congress MP Manish Tiwari initiated the discussion on election reforms in Lok Sabha. Other speakers include Sanjay Jaiswal from the BJP and Samajwadi Party's Akhilesh Yadav. Leaders of the National Democratic Alliance or NDA held meeting in the Parliament Library building in New Delhi today. The NDA leaders felicitated PM Modi during the meeting for the Bihar election victory. During the meeting, PM said that the country is now in a full-fledged reform express phase where reforms are happening rapidly and with clear intent. He also emphasized that the government's reforms are completely citizen-centric, not just economic or revenue-focused. The goal is to remove everyday hurdles of people so that they can grow to their full potential. PM stressed that both ease of life and ease of doing businesses are top priorities of Modi government. Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Kiran Rijiju highlighted the key points raised by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Tuesday's National Democratic Alliance meeting. He said the Prime Minister has laid out clear guidance for MPs on their responsibilities toward the country and its citizens. Listen.
सारे एनडीए सांसदों को देश के लिए और अपने संसदीय क्षेत्र के लिए और राज्य के लिए क्या क्या करना है बहुत अच्छा गाइडलाइंस मार्गदर्शन दिया है. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने लोगों को ज़िंदगी को सुधारने के लिए रिफॉर्म्स पे बहुत जोर दिया है. देश के आम लोगों के ज़िंदगी को आसान और आराम बनाने के लिए रिफॉर्म, जितने भी नागरिक हैं सबको भारतवासी होने के नाते कोई सरकार से तकलीफ नहीं झेलना पड़े, इसका सुनिश्चित सबको करना है।
All right, and DD India's Dibendu Mondal joins us on this story. Hi, Dibendu. A very good afternoon to you. Dibendu, we know that yesterday the discussion on Vande Mataram went on till late evening in the lower house of the Indian Parliament, that is Lok Sabha. And today it's going on in Rajya Sabha. Give us a sense of what happened so far in the upper house of the Parliament as far as discussion on India's national song Vande Mataram is concerned. Dibendu.
Well, very good afternoon, Siddharth. Here from the Parliament, both the houses of Parliament is functioning normally with the Rajya Sabha that has taken up the discussion on the in fact, on the celebration of 150 years of the song, India's national song, Vande Mataram, while in the lower house, which is the Lok Sabha, a discussion on the electoral reforms and the special intensive review of electoral rolls that has been taken up by the Election Commission is currently being debated and discussed in the lower house. But as far as the upper house, the discussion and debate is concerned, we have heard Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke for almost 40 to 45 minutes, highlighting the historical as well as, the historical aspect of the song and the roots and the cultural as well as the political roots of the song Vande Mataram that is etched in everyone's memory in India, given the fact that the song had played an extremely important role in India's freedom movement as well as in India's freedom struggle. So therefore, he also highlighted the fact that how this song had united every Indian during India's freedom movement. He dwelled a lot upon the historical aspect while he was speaking, and then later moved on to highlight how politics was played with this song, and how Jawaharlal Nehru during that point in time ceded to the demands of the Muslim League that was headed by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and how Jawaharlal Nehru ceding to Muhammad Ali Jinnah had led to the partition of India and the deletion of certain paragraphs from the song. And the song that we know as of today is not the original song, and certain parts of the song was taken out by the then Prime Minister and the Congress President Jawaharlal Nehru. So therefore, he highlighted that. He also highlighted the fact that when the song was celebrating 100 years, India was locked in an emergency where, most of the leaders who would sing that song were put in jail by the then Indira Gandhi government. So therefore, he did highlight the importance of the song and what the song echoes amongst millions of Indians once they hear it, be it the defense forces, be it the police forces, all the armed forces, as well as the civilian forces of this country do abide and in fact do sing to the tune of Vande Mataram, that gives them inspiration and a sense of nationalism and patriotism amongst these forces. So therefore, he did highlight a lot of those important aspects that the song holds in India's political, cultural, as well as historical ethos.
You're absolutely right, Dibendu. Home Minister Amit Shah has also said that the importance of Vande Mataram was there that time as well when the country got freedom, and even when the country will complete its centenary of its independence, that is 2047, the importance of Vande Mataram will still be there. Dibendu, I want to ask you, 150 years of Vande Mataram, it's a proud moment for every Indian, but seems like the opposition is reacting in a very different manner. How has the opposition reacted? You are there at the Parliament covering.
Well, Siddharth, even when Union Home Minister Amit Shah was speaking today on the floor of the House, he did take a dig at the Congress, where, we did see yesterday Priyanka Gandhi, a senior Congress leader from the Congress party, did say that there is no need of this discussion at this point in time. Because, this song is old and this song has been in the past. So there is nothing new in this. So that it doesn't merit a discussion in the Lok Sabha or in any of the houses of Parliament. So therefore, the Amit Shah clarified to the fact that why doesn't it need any discussion at this time? Because this song has been in inspiration for all Indians, for millions and millions, in fact, for billions of Indians. Therefore, to revive this song to make this song go to the younger generation who may not be aware of the historical references to this song, to revive it as well as to celebrate its 150 years. He also highlighted that the list of programs that the government will be undertaking over the next 1 year. He also spoke about Doordarshan, the national broadcaster, and of course our channel as well that will be showcasing. That will be in fact showcasing this multiple, the documentaries related to Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay.
Dibendu, this is certainly, a time, like I was just mentioning, that Vande Mataram, the national song of India, is completing 150 years. Everyone should come together, unite and praise and, highlight the significance and importance of Vande Mataram. But seems like the opposition is actually not interested in the discussion to the extent expected. They're talking about every other topic, but this, you just also mentioned Priyanka Gandhi, what she was saying. She was saying that what is the need of discussing Vande Mataram? I mean, this is a sad state of affairs. Dibendu, what's your assessment?
Well, Siddharth, I'll quickly complete because the security detail of the parliament has asked me to move. But having said this, it is, of course, Priyanka Gandhi did take a dig at the BJP for celebrating this song, but the government's proposal and the government's plan to celebrate it, and the government draws inspiration from this song, as well as it wants people across the country to draw inspiration from this song, and therefore a lot of programs have been planned by the government. Yes.
All right, Dibendu, you may leave. We leave it there. Thank you so much. And viewers, we also have Mr. Prafulla Ketkar, his editor, organizer, joining us on the broadcast. Sir, first of all, a very warm welcome. Sir, a very warm welcome to DD India News. 150 years of Vande Mataram. Proud moment. I was discussing it with my correspondent as well. It's an inspiration not just to millions, but to billions. The song creates a sense of patriotism. It has also inspired millions and billions of people when it comes to country's freedom struggle. But the opposition's behavior is something, to talk about here. How do you analyze that? What is actually happening in the parliament? What happened yesterday in the Indian parliament? What is happening today in the upper house of the parliament, which is the Rajya Sabha? And Priyanka Gandhi is saying, what is the need to discuss Vande Mataram? A sad state of affairs, certainly. What's your assessment, sir?
Siddharth, it is but obvious, and the simple reason is historical. Please try and understand what has happened over the period of time, as Prime Minister rightly said. In 1875, when British actually tried to impose the British song,
right,
God Save the Queen,
yeah.
That time, as a matter of resistance, Bankim Babu wrote this in Bengal Patrika as the first line of Vande Mataram. In 1882, he actually used the complete Vande Mataram in Anand Math. In 1896, Rabindranath Tagore gave a tune to it, and then Congress session started singing it. In 1905, when Bengal was partitioned on religious lines, Vande Mataram became a crying call across India. It got translated in multiple languages and multiple scripts. In Tamil, Lokmanya Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal started Vande Mataram as the publication. And this became a rallying call of Hindu-Muslim unity, linguistic, all the barriers that British created, Vande Mataram broken. Unfortunately, post 1909 and especially 1923, Congress buckled down under the Muslim League pressure, and finally 1937 actually took a couple of steps back and then moved away from Vande Mataram and its original spirit. Now, what is Vande Mataram? You call it patriotism. I call it the mantra of matriotism. India is the only country where we consider our country as motherland, Bharat Mata, and not as fatherland. And patriotism is a very European concept. Since time immemorial, ours has been the idea of patriotism. We consider the earth, our land, as sacred, and that's why mother. And that's why that was a kind of a connect that every common Indian had with this particular slogan across the party line, ideological line. Now, unfortunately, because Congress had a lot of things to defend on the idea of Vande Mataram, and why Congress accepted, as Prime Minister said, first you accepted the partition of Vande Mataram and then accepted the partition of India.
They literally bow down to the Muslim League, sir.
Congress has to defend this. It is a very difficult proposition. That's why perhaps Priyanka Gandhi Vadra tried to link it to Bengal election. I personally feel Vande Mataram is a spirit. Vande Mataram is a spirit that actually inspires each and every Indian to rededicate herself or himself for the cause of Bharat Mata. Everything that we do is for some cause, some national cause. That is the inspiration that Vande Mataram gives. I think this effort of celebrating 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram is just to rekindle that spirit of reverence to Bharat Mata, and I think we should keep it that way instead of getting into the political debate over it.
Yeah, sir, but I agree with you. But my question is that whatever you've mentioned about Vande Mataram, the national song of India, it's a proud moment certainly that the song has completed 150 years this year, and it seems like this year is a full of 150 number, because we also celebrated the Unity Day. 150 years of Sardar Vallabh, definitely, and then 150 years of Vande Mataram. But this spirit is not actually aligning with the opposition, who was saying that there is no point discussing Vande Mataram, and that too with the fact that it's very important, for the younger generations, for the generations growing up, and for the upcoming generations to actually know the significance and weightage of Vande Mataram. What do you have to say on that, sir? I want to ask you on that front.
No, see, even present day challenges, if we really want to achieve the goals of 2047, the Vikasit Bharat, as Honorable Prime Minister said, if somebody could create inspiration for independence through the slogan of Vande Mataram, even today when we have to achieve the goals of Vikasit Bharat, Vande Mataram can be an inspiration. So if every individual, every citizen of India has to take some inspiration, we need to have some goals. We need to have some fundamental values, fundamental duties that we should perform for the sake of nation. Of course, we have our own personal lives, we have our own careers, but for what? And then, if Vikasit Bharat is the idea, Vikasit for whom and for what? Again, if that is to be clear, then Vande Mataram is one song where we say it is the original idea of Bharat that since immemorial, what British was trying to tell us, see, before our arrival, you were not a nation. We created your nation. It was the British who gave this idea. Unfortunately, the Muslim League, Vande Mataram became a call of unity between Hindus and Muslims. Unfortunately, it was the Muslim League who created this binary that Vande Mataram is anti-Islamic, and Congress buckled down under that pressure. And today, even after the dividing or giving away the 3 stanzas of Vande Mataram, still today, some MPs from Srinagar or MPs like Owaisi are saying that we will not sing Vande Mataram because it is anti-Islamic. So the mindset is same. So unless this mindset is exposed, and the way politics has been played over this great national
definitely,
song,
this really
multiple
I completely agree with you, sir. It's very unfortunate whatever is happening from the opposition. At a time when nation is walking towards the path of self-reliance or Atmanirbharta, aligning with the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, like Home Minister Amit Shah said in the Parliament today, that the importance of Vande Mataram will still be there in 2047. We leave it there, sir. Thank you so much for joining in on DD India News. Thank you. December 9, 1946 marked a defining moment in India's history as the Constituent Assembly convened its first session. It was held in the historic Constitution Hall of Parliament House, now known as Samvidhan Sadan. This assembly, comprising visionaries and leaders from across the nation, embarked on the monumental task of drafting a constitution that would uphold the values of democracy, unity and progress for an independent India. The aviation regulator has pulled up IndiGo over its winter 2025 schedule. A fresh DGCA notice dated 8th of December reveals that while IndiGo was approved for more than 64,000 flights for November, the airline actually operated over 59,400 flights, recording 951 cancellations during the month. The DGCA notes that IndiGo was allowed a 6% increase in its schedule compared to the previous season, but the airline could not deploy the required number of aircraft, operating only 339 jets in October and 344 in November, far below the approved 403. Citing the airline's inability to operate efficiently, the regulator has now directed IndiGo to cut its schedule by 5%, especially on high-demand routes, and avoid single-flight sectors. IndiGo has been asked to submit a revised schedule by 5 p.m. on 10th of December. This notice comes amid weeks of disruptions, raising major concerns about capacity planning and passenger impact during the busy travel season. And also, speaking in the lower house of the parliament, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said that disruptions caused by IndiGo's failures is now heading towards destabilization. The minister firmly added that no airline will be permitted to cause such hardship to passengers.
I'd like to inform this august house that the disruption caused by IndiGo's recent operational failures is now rapidly stabilizing. IndiGo's daily flights, which had fallen drastically to 706 on 5th of December, have recovered to over 1,800 flights yesterday and are expected to rise further today. All other airlines continue to operate smoothly across the country, and the airports are reporting normal conditions without crowding or distress. Refunds, baggage tracing, and passenger support measures remain under continuous supervision by the ministry. At the same time, accountability will be ensured. Revised flight duty time limitations, scientifically designed to prevent pilot fatigue, are being implemented. These reforms are essentially for passenger safety. DGCA adopted a phased-wise implementation plan in consultation with all the stakeholders. As informed by IndiGo, process of refunds, baggage handling are over in its final stages. Our 24/7 control room continues to assist passengers directly whenever needed. Will be permitted to cause such hardship to passengers through planning failures, non-compliance, or non-adherence to statutory provisions. Honorable Speaker, sir, safety in civil aviation is completely non-negotiable.
All right, indeed, India's Tapas Bhattacharya joins us on the story. Hi, Tapas, a very good afternoon to you. We just heard what Civil Aviation Minister has said, that the failures are now heading to stabilization. Tapas, amid days of flight disruptions, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation is now directed to slash its schedule by 5%. What it means for the airline and what impact will it have on the air travelers?
Well, the airline has to submit by 5 p.m. on Wednesday how to go about with the new scheduling. Let's start with the fact that DGCA, that is the Indian Civil Aviation watchdog, has said that they increased IndiGo's flight schedule by 6% from the last time they submitted last year, but they have now curtailed that to 5%, which what it means is that 15,014 weekly departure they were not being able to efficiently handle. That's the number they have given, the DGCA has given. They were not being able to efficiently handle that, and because of that, a 5% cut in the schedule, a 5% cut on 15,000 over 15,000 weekly flight will amount to more than 2,145 daily domestic flight translate and it will translate to almost what 108 approximately daily flights. So in many ways they're trying to assess the fact that whether they required to have this kind of flight schedule to be handled to DGCA and to IndiGo. So that's one part of it. So there will be a 5% cut in the daily schedule so that they can reduce the number of flights. There will be a reduction of the pilot and also the number of aircraft that will be used. So that's the basic idea, so that they don't need to overexert themselves and can continue to operate on scheduled flights, which will give them that basic leg room to maneuver. That is one part of it. The other part that is there, Siddharth, is they have been told to not operate on heavy duty, heavy rush corridors, and also on single sector route. So that's another part that have been told to them. So the wings of IndiGo have been considerably cut by the DGCA after the fiasco that we saw in the last few days. Remember the FDTL, that's the new roster system that came into existence from 1st of November. It went haywire from the first week of December because of the excessive number of flight schedule that the IndiGo tried to handle themselves, and that's where the problem actually aggravated further. Siddharth.
Definitely. Tapas, any updates on what further action is DGCA is likely to take against IndiGo?
Well, there will be we expect some more action to be taken. First, DGCA have actually asked IndiGo to reply by 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's the 10th of December. They have to, exactly tell them exactly why this happened and why should they should not be penalized further, and what exactly they are doing to come up with a new roster system. As I mentioned, 5% cut have been done to their daily schedule, to their overall schedule for the month of December. So if that is the case, they have to come up with a new schedule, new roster system for the airlines, and that is something that they have to give in detail to DGCA by 10th of December 5 p.m. So that's the deadline. We expect if they are unable to meet that criteria, we might see some more reduction in their flight schedule, as well as maybe a penalty, a financial penalty can also not be ruled out from the DGCA.
Definitely. Tapas, since the time ministry has come into the picture, people expressed happiness, that actually ministry is intervening and a solution will be out. Did you have a word with people at the airport? What were they saying? What were they saying about the ministry, and how the things are stabilizing now?
Right. So let's start with the fact that ministry's intervention actually put a lot of pressure on both the DGCA as well as on IndiGo, and we saw how other airlines also started putting more flights on deck and try to mitigate the situation. But the problem happened because IndiGo used to handle more than 60% of India's civil aviation market. That is where the problem happened. They didn't know how to mitigate that particular gap. So that is where one part of it. Obviously, ministry officials have been in touch with the DGCA as well, also with the other airlines to assess how best they can, fill that particular gap. And also, as I mentioned, the way they have actually been proactive in making sure that both the airline as well as the civil aviation watchdog.
Definitely, and people really like we are just talking. Tapas, I'm really happy.
Which already there is.
Yeah, you're right.
IndiGo has been told quite categorically that they need to put their house in order. What you saw in the newspaper ads, in social media is a reaction to that. Yeah. Also, they put people on ground to assess exactly what is happening. Remember, indeed, the ministry had put two major criteria. The first was to make sure that most of the people get their refund ASAP, and also to provide the passenger their boarding, their bags in a couple of days. So that is one part of it.
Definitely. We also saw a big ad in one of the newspapers wherein IndiGo was apologizing to all the customers, to all the air travelers, which said, "We are sorry." But still to come on DD India News Hour. Ukraine will share a revised peace plan with the US. 83rd Golden Globe Awards nominations announced. Stay tuned for who's leading and what's the latest.
Every year on 10th of December, the world comes together to celebrate the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a landmark document that affirms the fundamental freedoms every individual enjoys everywhere.
After the explosion of information technology, digital technology, new genre of rights have come up. Right to privacy can be infringed both by state actors and by non-state actors. People should learn to respect other people's rights. If we don't respect each other's rights, you cannot enforce your own rights. The only thing that could be done is to make everything simple. Don't complicate matters.
You're watching DD News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of the headlines. Parliament holds a special discussion on 150th anniversary of India's national song Vande Mataram. Home Minister Amit Shah says song continues to hold same importance even today. Nation should know its complete history. Civil Aviation Minister Naidu asserts in Parliament that safety in aviation is non-negotiable. Meanwhile, DGCA has slashed IndiGo flights by 5% for its winter 2025 schedule. Conflict escalates across multiple areas along the disputed border of Thailand and Cambodia after both countries accused each other of breaching the ceasefire. Ukraine will share a revised peace plan with the US on Tuesday that is aimed at ending conflict with Russia. The statement came after talks in London between President Volodymyr Zelensky and the leaders of France, Germany and Britain. As the conflict nears its 4-year mark, Kyiv, under pressure from the White House to agree quickly to a peace settlement, wants to balance out a US-backed draft that was widely seen as favorable to Moscow. Monday's meeting among British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Zelensky was aimed to strengthen Ukraine's hand. Zelensky later flew to Brussels, where he met European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa. He described his meeting with the two EU institution chiefs as well as NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte as good and productive. Leaders from Estonia, Finland, Ireland, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Sweden urged the European Union to move quickly with a stalled proposal to use those assets to provide funds for Ukraine. Meanwhile, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Moscow has not received any information about the outcome of talks between US and Ukrainian officials in Florida regarding a settlement in Ukraine. Peskov said that they don't know the outcome of talks between the Ukrainians and the Americans in Florida. Peskov added that once Moscow receives information about the results, it will be clear how and in what direction they are to act next. Russia's top general Valery Gerasimov said on Tuesday that Moscow's forces were advancing along the entire front line in Ukraine and were targeting surrounded Ukrainian troops in the town of Myrnohrad. In a command post meeting with the officers of the center grouping, Gerasimov said President Vladimir Putin had ordered the defeat of Ukrainian forces in Myrnohrad, a town with a pre-war population of some 46,000 people to the east of Pokrovsk in Ukraine's Donetsk region. Gerasimov said Russian forces had taken control of more than 30% of a Myrnohrad building. United States President Donald Trump will host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House on December 29, according to an Israeli government spokesperson. The Prime Minister's office on December 1st said that Trump had invited Netanyahu to the White House in near future, although a date for the visit has not yet been made public. The announcement came a day after Netanyahu said he expected to discuss the second phase of the ceasefire in Gaza with Trump, as well as opportunities for peace in the region. Netanyahu said on Sunday that the second phase of a U.S. plan to end the conflict in Gaza was closed, but cautioned several key issues still needed to be resolved, including whether a multinational security force would be deployed. Netanyahu said that he would discuss with Trump how to bring an end to Hamas rule in Gaza. A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is entering its second month, although both sides have repeatedly accused each other of violating the truce agreement. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio hosted the Australia-United States Ministerial Consultations called OSMIN at the State Department in Washington, D.C. Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Richard Marles, Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong, as well as U.S. Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth discussed the recent agreement to develop critical mineral supply chains between the United States and Australia, as well as ongoing military projects. U.S. President Donald Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese signed an agreement in October that will see up to $8.5 billion invested in projects to develop and refine metals vital to industries, including defense, advanced manufacturing, and the energy transition. India's Ministry of External Affairs have confirmed that new U.S. Deputy Ambassador for Trade Rick Switzer will be visiting New Delhi on the 10th and 11th of December for trade talks. Switzer serves as the lead of the U.S. negotiating team for the India-U.S. bilateral trade agreement.
The new Deputy U.S. Trade Representative, Ambassador Rick Switzer, he will be visiting India on 10th and 11th of December. This visit is a familiarization visit, as also to meet with senior officials in the Government of India. As you are aware, both governments remain engaged with a view to concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral bilateral trade agreement.
In an attack at a security checkpoint in Pakistan's Kuram district, 6 soldiers and 3 police personnel were killed. The overnight attack comes at a time when Pakistan and Afghanistan are struggling to maintain a fragile truce following October's intense border clashes. Islamabad has blamed the escalating violence on Afghanistan, accusing them of planning and executing attacks across the border, while Kabul has rejected the charges, calling Pakistan's security crisis an internal issue. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the Pakistani Taliban, claimed responsibility for the attack. The group is separate from but aligned with the Afghan Taliban. The attack adds to rising tensions marked by repeated failed peace talks hosted by Qatar, Turkey and Saudi Arabia. A Thai defense spokesperson on Tuesday said the Thai military had focused solely on military targets to degrade Cambodia during a televised news conference as fighting between Cambodia and Thailand escalated along their contested border. With each side blaming each other for starting Monday's renewed clashes, it was unclear how or if a fragile ceasefire brokered by US President Trump in July could be salvaged. In Thailand, military officials said there were clashes in 5 border provinces and a Navy-led operation in its Strat province to expel Cambodian soldiers was expected to end soon. They said Cambodia was using artillery, rocket launchers and bomb-dropping drones to attack Thai forces. Meanwhile, Cambodia's former leader Hun Sen said his country waited 24 hours to honor the ceasefire and allow for evacuations before launching counterattacks overnight against Thai forces. Thailand and Cambodia have for more than a century contested sovereignty at various undemarcated points along their 817-kilometer land border, which was first mapped by France in 1907. That map, which Thailand later contested, in 2000, they agreed to establish a commission to peacefully address overlapping claims, but little progress has been made. The 11th century Hindu temple, Priya Vihar, has been central to the dispute, with both countries claiming historical ownership. Tensions simmered since a Thai soldier was wounded by a landmine on November 10, prompting Thailand to suspend de-escalation measures agreed in an enhanced ceasefire deal. Thailand says the landmine was among several that were newly laid by Cambodia. Cambodia has repeatedly rejected the allegations. Conflict erupted on December 8 with clashes in 5 border locations. Cambodia's defense ministry said its forces came under attack but had not retaliated. Thailand's army also said its troops were attacked and accused Cambodia of firing rockets towards civilian areas. Mass evacuations are underway, with hundreds of thousands of civilians moved to shelters on the Thai side and thousands relocated in Cambodia. Cuba's Supreme Popular Tribunal on Monday sentenced former Economy Minister Alejandro Gil Fernandez to life in prison following a closed-door trial that found him guilty of espionage in one of the country's highest-profile corruption cases in decades. The court additionally found him guilty of a range of corruption charges in a second trial, including bribery, falsification of public documents, influence peddling and tax evasion. He was sentenced to a concurrent 20-year sentence for those crimes. The defendant has the right to appeal the sentences within 10 days. Australia on Wednesday will become the world's first country to ban social media for children under 16, blocking them from platforms including TikTok, Alphabet's YouTube and Meta's Instagram and Facebook as well.
Australia's young teenagers will soon be spared from endless scrolling online, all thanks to a landmark law passed in November 2024, which will roll out from Wednesday, December 10th. The Online Safety Amendment Social Media Minimum Age Bill 2024 bars children under 16 from having social media account on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese made a last-ditch push to convince hundreds of thousands of Australian adolescents that the law was for their own good.
You'll know better than anyone what it's like growing up with algorithms, endless speeds, and the pressure that can come with that. That's why we've taken this step to support you.
Many Australian teenagers, though, feel otherwise.
I'm gonna miss like leaks about games, like new games coming out, or new things for games that I play. I don't know. I might maybe cry because like losing connection with my friends, with ones that I've talked to, like I've had since I was young, or like ones that I met a couple years after when I was in kindy, pre-primary and stuff.
Government is certain about the imperativeness of weaning the under 16s from the mild screens.
Above all, make the most of the school holidays coming up. Rather than spending it scrolling on your phone, start a new sport, learn a new instrument, or read that book that has been sitting there on your shelf for some time. And importantly, spend quality time with your friends and your family, face to face.
Companies that fail to comply could face penalties of up to $32.8 million. Meta's Instagram, Facebook, and Thread began deactivating accounts from December 4th. The law received harsh criticism from major technology companies but was praised by parents and child advocates. Online discussion site Reddit condemned the social media ban but said it would comply with the landmark crackdown. Governments from Denmark to Malaysia and even some states in the US are planning similar steps. 4 years after a leak of internal Meta documents showed the company knew its products contributed to body image problems and suicidal thoughts among teenagers, while it publicly denied the link existed. With agency inputs, Tripti Tripaঠি's report for DD India.
The Committee to Protect Journalists has urged Bangladesh's Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus to take urgent action to secure the release of 4 journalists jailed on what it says are politically motivated murder charges. In a letter sent ahead of International Human Rights Day, the New York-based watchdog said the accusations lack credible evidence and appear to be reprisals for their reporting and perceived political affiliations. CPJ has urged the interim government to allow detained journalists to return home and work without fear as concerns grow over shrinking press freedoms in Bangladesh. Rights groups say censorship, intimidation and pressure under the Cyber Security Act continue to stifle critical reporting, with several journalists detained or questioned. International watchdogs warn the media is being systematically muzzled, adding to calls for the government to restore a safer environment for the press. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. In flood-hit Aceh, Indonesia, 4 elephants from a local training center are helping clear debris and free stranded vehicles using their trunk to lift large logs and other obstacles in the heavily affected district. France is returning a nearly complete Tarbosaurus batar skeleton to Mongolia. The fossil, illegally taken from the Gobi Desert and seized by French customs in 2015, is being repatriated through cooperation between authorities to help restore Mongolia's scientific and cultural heritage. Tapanuli orangutans, once commonly seen in the Siperok area of North Sumatra, Indonesia, have been displaced following recent deadly landslides and floods. Deforestation from logging and mining has worsened the disaster, further threatening their natural habitats. Fans gathered at Strawberry Fields in New York Central Park on Monday to mark 45 years since the death of Beatles legend John Lennon. Visitors paid tribute at the Imagine mosaic, reflecting the Lennon's music, activism and enduring influence. Fans like India Flanagan and Charlie Collins spoke about the Beatles' lasting impact, while longtime visitor Donna Southern called Lennon iconic. Born in Liverpool in 1914, Lennon rose to global fame with the Beatles before pursuing a solo career and promoting peace with Yoko Ono. He was tragically shot outside his home, the Dakota, on December 8, 1980. Following the Critics' Choice Awards nominations announcement, the excitement surrounding the 2025 awards season has intensified with the reveal of 83rd edition of Golden Globe nominations on Monday. While films like One Battle After Another, Sinners and The Smashing Machine are making waves in the movie categories, television shows such as The Diplomat, The Studio and Severance are emerging as strong contenders. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us all the details on what to expect from the upcoming ceremony in this report.
As 2025 draws to a close, the best of cinema and television is gearing up for a major celebration. The nominations for the 83rd Golden Globe Awards are out, delivering both surprises and shocks for fans. Paul Thomas Anderson's comedy thriller One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Chase Infinity and Sean Penn, leads the pack with 9 nominations, the most for any film this season. Close behind are contenders like Sinners, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme and Bugonia. Festival favorites including It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, and The Secret Agent have also secured major nods. In television, the black comedy drama The White Lotus dominates with 6 nominations, while Adolescence, Only Murders in the Building, Severance, and The Studio round out the competitive slate.
For the first time, the Globes will honor podcasts with the inaugural Best Podcast category.
The ceremony will take place on January 11th, with comedian Nikki Glazer returning as host. And as always, Globe winners are expected to be strong contenders heading into the 98th Academy Awards on March 15th. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Paramount launches a hostile bid to take over Warner Brothers Discovery. Indian Grandmaster Arjun Erigesi shocked world number 1 Magnus Carlsen with a stunning round 5 victory at the Freestyle Chess Grand Slam finals.
Every year on 10th of December, the world comes together to celebrate the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a landmark document that affirms the fundamental freedoms every individual enjoys everywhere.
After the explosion of information technology, digital technology, new genre of rights have come up. Right to privacy can be infringed both by state actors and by non-state actors. People should learn to respect other people's rights. If we don't respect each other's rights, you cannot enforce your own rights. The only thing that could be done is to make everything simple. Don't complicate matters.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. India's energy rise is reshaping the global map. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is securing its future with access, innovation and exploration. India's Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri, informed that India is 3rd largest consumer of energy and oil and 4th largest refining system with world-class PSU refineries. Nation has 25,429 kilometers of pipelines, 8,428 CNG stations and 1.58 crore PNG homes. Minister informed that 172 open acreage licensing policy blocks and 99% of offshore no-go zones have been opened. India will contribute 25% of global demand growth till 2040. Energy use is expected to grow 35% by 2035. The International Monetary Fund report on growing retail digital payments had recognized Unified Payments Interface as the world's largest retail fast payment system by transaction volume. Various initiatives have been taken up by the government, Reserve Bank of India and National Payments Corporation of India to support small-scale merchants in adopting digital payment systems, including UPI. According to the Ministry of Finance, as per the ACI Worldwide Report on Prime Time for Real-Time 2024, UPI has around 49% share in the global real-time payment system transaction volume. These inter alia include incentive scheme for promotion of low-value BHIM UPI transactions and the Payments Infrastructure Development Fund, which provides grant support to the banks and fintechs for deployment of digital payment infrastructure in Tier 3 to 6 centers. Meanwhile, UPI continued its rapid rise in November 2025, crossing over 19 billion transactions worth rupees 24.58 lakh crore as of November 28. This is according to the data released by National Payments Corporation of India. This marked a sharp increase compared to the same period last year when UPI recorded 15.48 billion transactions valued at rupees 21.55 lakh crore in November 2024. The latest figures show that UPI's transaction volume in November 2025 grew by about 23% from November 2024, while the transaction value rose by nearly 14%. More and more companies in Germany are shutting down operations, and the trend shows no sign of slowing. DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu joins us now from Berlin with more on the country's corporate insolvency crisis. Hi Chiponda, just how bad is the situation? Chiponda.
Thanks for having me. Well, the number of companies that are insolvent, so unable to meet their debt obligations, has risen to the highest level since 2014. And nearly 24,000 companies are projected to file for insolvency by the end of this year. Now, that is 8% more than last year, according to Credit Reform, which is one of Germany's leading credit bureaus. So far, most German firms don't seem to be benefiting from the billions in debt that the German government has taken on since loosening government borrowing rules earlier this year. Now, the economy here has been historically powered by its small and medium-sized companies, and according to Credit Reform, heavily indebted companies are struggling to get new loans in the high interest rate environment. And they also face other structural challenges, including high energy prices and red tape.
Chiponda, what impact are these insolvencies having on the economy?
The economic damage of the insolvencies is expected to be around 57 billion euros this year alone, and around 285,000 jobs could be at risk of disappearing this year as well as a result of the businesses going under. And while a big chunk of the insolvencies affect companies with 10 employees or less, there were also dozens of big companies that filed for insolvency. And this is having an impact on the finances of German households too. It means that ordinary Germans were unable to pay their bills, and they were also more likely to file for bankruptcy this year than in 2024. And Germans are now more uncertain about their economic prospects, and they are also spending less as unemployment rises, and the auto industry, which is the country's biggest private sector employer, continues to announce plans to slash jobs and cut costs. So that's also part of the wider economic story here.
All right, Chiponda Chimbelu, thank you so much for joining in. And you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. After an action-packed test and ODI leg, the spotlight now moves to the T20Is as India gets set to take on South Africa in a 5-match T20I series. The series starting on Tuesday will offer both the teams a vital opportunity to assess form and combinations as the countdown to the T20 World Cup 2026 gathers pace.
After clinching the three-match one-day international series 2-1, the focus now shifts to the shortest format as India take on South Africa in a five-match T20 international series starting on Tuesday in Cuttack. Led by Suryakumar Yadav, India will look to carry forward their winning momentum as preparations intensify for the T20 World Cup at home next year. India's lineup features several flexible options, with Suryakumar emphasizing adaptability rather than fixed roles. The series marks an important phase in India's build-up, with the squad aiming for consistency rather than experimentation. India receive a major boost with the return of Hardik Pandya, whose presence brings a much-needed balance to the side. The all-rounder is all fit and ready for his return after sustaining an injury during the Asia Cup. As a result of the injury, he was unable to feature in the ODI and T20I series against Australia and the ODI games at home against South Africa as well. India's T20I vice captain Shubman Gill has been declared fit to play in the opening T20I against South Africa after receiving clearance from the sports science team at the BCCI's Centre for Excellence. Gill completed his rehabilitation program following the neck injury he sustained during the Kolkata Test. Jasprit Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh will spearhead the pace attack, while Kuldeep Yadav will lead the spin department, supported by Varun Chakrabarti and Washington Sundar. South Africa, led by Aiden Markram, arrived with the return of experienced T20I campaigners David Miller and Reza Hendricks, strengthening their batting depth. After a mixed tour so far, the Proteas will be keen to make a strong statement in the T20 format. India hold a clear edge in the T20I head-to-head, having won 18 of the 31 matches played between the two sides, while South Africa have claimed only 12. With both teams eyeing the T20 World Cup in 2026, the five-match series promises high-intensity cricket as India and South Africa look to fine-tune their combinations in the race towards the global glory. Sports Desk, DD India.
In a sensational showdown at the freestyle chess Grand Slam finals, India's Arjun Erigesi has stunned world number one Magnus Carlsen in the fifth round. In just 34 masterful moves, Arjun dismantled the champion's position, a victory that has sent shockwaves across the global chess arena. Analysts are calling it a defining moment, a signal of new era in world chess. Indian Grandmaster Erigesi, who finished with 4.5 points after 7 rounds, will face Vincent Kimmer in knockouts, while Carlsen will take on Fabiano Caruana. The winner of the finals will be crowned the 2025 Freestyle Chess Champions. The Kashi Tamil Sangamam witnessed a heartwarming highlight as delegates aboard a cruise on the Ganga broke into a spontaneous dance, transforming the evening into a celebration of rhythm, joy and cultural unity. The serene waters of the Ganga became the backdrop for this light-hearted moment where movement turned into the language of togetherness. Delegates representing diverse traditions joined hands in dance, embodying the spirit of Tamil Kashi cultural exchange. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.